Welcome back everyone. Following the introduction of the NBA's new collective bargaining agreement, every team can have 3 two-way contracts rather than only 2, and the Lakers quickly put theirs to use following the draft. After going undrafted, they quickly picked up 5-year college players Colin Castleton and Fudge, both of which have already made a pretty good impression and are far more likely to be elevated rather than demoted. However, the same thing could not be said for second-year player Swider. They had retained him through a two-way contract from last season and were obviously hoping for him to take a leap forward. And while he once again showed off his three-point shooting ability throughout Summer League, there is really nothing different about him from a year ago. He continued to struggle on defense, did not provide much rebounding for his height, and it simply felt like he had already reached his ceiling. Whether or not that turns out to be true I cannot say for sure, but the Lakers quite obviously felt like it was time for a change, and that change came in the form of waiving Swider in favor of rookie Fudge. But was that really the right move here? And then what can we be looking forward to with Fudge? We will be talking about exactly that in today's video. Real quick before we get into it though, I would genuinely appreciate it if you could take a brief moment to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. Without wasting any more time here though, let's dive right into it, and we'll begin by reviewing Fudge from a broad perspective. If you are not able to keep up with their Summer League team, then you are likely not too familiar with him. Fudge happens to be a 6'8" combo forward who spent 2 years in college, where he actually played with Colin Castleton during his second and final year at Florida. And I would not be shocked if you told me that the Lakers scouting department was scouting one of them, but then ended up taking a liking to both of them. And although Fudge is a very raw talent, I understand why they are so intrigued with him. For one, you simply don't find many players of that height who can defend nearly every position on the court very often, but they've seemed to have found that again with Fudge. And I say again here because they already have Jared Vanderbilt, who many people are comparing him with, and I get where that comparison is coming from too. I mean, by simply looking at the way they are built, they are very comparable, roughly being the same height, weight, and even having a near identical wingspan too. But it even goes further than that. Beyond being built the same, they play very similar too, with both of them being very limited offensively, but being extremely versatile defensively. You can't rely on them to do much on offense, other than cutting backdoor or the occasional three-point shot. They really don't provide much. And while Vanderbilt appears to be developing his game a bit further, Fudge has a long ways to go. Again, if you watch him during Summer League, then you'll know what I'm talking about, and watching highlights of him here won't help you out. He looked very limited offensively, and I often found myself wondering why he left college early. But then he would turn around and remind me on defense. Now, I still do think he would have benefited from another year or two of college, but he's definitely NBA ready in regard to defense. Even now he could step in and fill a small defensive role. He is quick enough to match up with guards, but also tall and lanky enough to match up with wing players. Now, he definitely would get pushed around by stronger wing players, but that is something he can work on in the weight room, though you simply cannot teach that combination of height, length, and athletic ability. I would call Vanderbilt a more sound defensive player, meaning that he's naturally a better team defender than Fudge, but I think that Fudge might have more potential as an individual defender. He is a bit more athletic than Vanderbilt, and that can allow him to be a secondary rim protector. If we take a look at his college per 40-minute average, he put up over a block and a half per game, and many of those came from him playing help defense near the rim. Now, I'm not sure if he's a better leaper than Vanderbilt, but he does appear to be a bit more twitchy around the rim, meaning that he tends to react a bit quicker when contesting shot attempts. And that is something that I wish Vanderbilt was a bit better at. Now, we'll have to wait and see if that even translates to the NBA level for him, but I like what Fudge can offer here from a defensive standpoint. Again, he is nowhere near as refined compared to Vanderbilt, though the potential is undeniably there for him on defense, and I imagine that's what the Lakers are hoping for too. I'm really not too worried about him reaching at least some of that potential on defense, but I am worried about him reaching it on offense. At the moment, there is not even one thing that he does at a high level. You could maybe make an argument for him running the floor well, but that's really not an offensive ability. It simply comes from him being athletic. What they are getting here with Fudge happens to be a very raw talent. He shot only 24.2% from 3 throughout college, only 40.5% from the field, and averaged under 5 points per game. No matter what way you want to cut it, you really can't do much with him right now. If you put him along the 3-point line, your opponent will not respect him, therefore creating a floor spacing problem, and that is something you cannot afford to have in today's NBA. You can kind of put him in the dunker spot due to him being a lob threat, but even then it can become a problem. He's not very good at finishing around the rim despite his height and athletic ability, and that showed up again throughout Summer League. He often failed to finish through even minimal contact, ending Summer League by shooting under 37% from the field, and that will need to improve if he ever hopes to make an impact at the NBA level. At the moment, he would be a complete offensive liability within the half-court setting. I mean, take Jared Vanderbilt but then multiply it by 2. That's what you get with Alex Fudge. But luckily for him, the Lakers appear to have plenty of confidence in him, and with him only being 20 years old, he has plenty of time to get better. I would like to see both him and Vanderbilt working together with Phil Handy. Again, they are very comparable players, and a guy like Vando could give him some helpful advice. Although we do need to acknowledge that Fudge likely won't have much time to get better. I mean, up until this point, the Lakers have not kept a player on a 2-way contract for even more than a year. In fact, the longest they waited for one happened to be the guy they waived Alex Fudge for, with that player being Swider, who they really like coming out of the 2022 NBA draft. Again, they quite obviously are not very patient with their 2-way contracts, and knowing that, he will have to show major improvement throughout this season. And I imagine a large majority if not all of that time will come in the G League, where he will have a great opportunity to match up with players who are more on his level. I think the final test for him could be a year from now again in Summer League, where they will evaluate him very similarly to how they did Swider. If he shows improvement, then he could stick around or maybe even be elevated to their 15-man roster. But if he does not show improvement, then they will likely move on from him in favor of somebody else. 2-way contracts are kind of brutal in that sense. There is absolutely no commitment required with them. I mean, a team can waive their 2-way player at any moment for no additional cost at all, or at least if they don't have something included in their contract, which they actually did for the first year of Swider's 2-way contract. But to wrap everything up here though, I think it was time for them to move on from Swider. I loved how accurate he was from the 3-point line, but that was really all he could do, and he already appeared to be hitting his ceiling too. But that is not the case for rookie Alex Fudge. I mean, his entire game is based off potential at the current moment, and if he can become a comparable player to Jared Vanderbilt, then that would land him in the NBA sooner rather than later. Will he be able to do that? That is yet to be seen, but I for one am excited to watch him grow and develop throughout this season. With all of that being said though, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the Lakers swapping out Swider for Alex Fudge? Comment your thoughts down below. That will do it for this video though. Big thank you to those of you who took the time to watch until the end of this video, and until the end of all of my videos in general. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and turn on notifications to get notified right away when I drop a new video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.